What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel, Sports, Life, and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And here today, we're going to be going over several clips that have went on across the nation and across the world in the past week. And we're going to jump off with this Joe Biden JuneTeenth celebration at the White House, which is utterly ridiculous. Obviously, the Democrats are doing terrible in the internal polls and the external polls. They know that they're in trouble. That's why this whole thing with Donald Trump and all these court cases have been going on. Obviously, all politicians are rotten to the core. That's why, personally, I'm apolitical. Both sides, to me, are always in cahoots together, but there is a competition to see who can get to the top and stay there for a little while. But once they get in there, they're all working together for the common goal and common agenda. And that's New World Order agenda. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Well, let's take a look at this first clip of the Juneteenth celebration at the White House.
President Biden hosting a concert that is set to kick off in just minutes from now at the White House to celebrate Juneteenth, commemorating the ending of slavery in the United States. Now, this will be the second Juneteenth concert held at the White House since President Biden signed bipartisan legislation in 2021, establishing it as a federal holiday.
And, who cares if they made this a national holiday? This was a holiday that was basically just in Texas for the majority of my life. I have been around the nation and nobody celebrated Juneteenth. And if black people around the nation want to celebrate that, but that's fine. But obviously, it's been politicized now. And now that they're doing so bad in the black demographic in their polls for the Democrats, now this is like they're kowtowing. They're begging, they're pleading, but they're not giving us any laws, any legislations. There's no black crime bills, ain't no reparations on the table. All they give you is things like this. False platitudes. This is ridiculous.
So tonight's lineup has stars including Queens of Soul, Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, R&B singer Charlie Wilson, singer and songwriter Raheem DeVaughn, gospel singer Kirk Franklin, and rapper Dougie Fresh. ABC News' Jay O'Brien is joining us live now at the White House with more. So Jay, look, Juneteenth is not until next Wednesday, right? The White House celebrating a little early. Even it sounds like the president is set to speak as well. What else can we expect?
Celebrating very early, Kana. The president will speak. Comedian Roy Wood Jr. is expected to be there. The Marine Corps Band is going to play the White House. And then, of course, that stellar list of artists that you just ticked through. This is the administration celebrating of a federal law that President Biden so often champions because he was the one, as you noted, to sign that bipartisan legislation that enacted Juneteenth as a federal holiday. So expect him to make mention of that, and expect him to make mention of what the administration says it has done for black Americans specifically in this election year.
Absolutely nothing. They've done absolutely nothing for the Negro. And what a slap to the face. And I'm so glad that so many Negroes have started to wake up. And I used to always tell my partner Jay, I know it's a slow process, but eventually Negroes will wake up. I told him that about 10 years ago. It has finally started to happen where especially Negro men are starting to wake up and see that everything the Democrats have been giving us is all fake, and it's all surface stuff, and it's all hugs, it's all high fives, and it's never laws and legislation, nothing that you can actually lay your hat on, period, point blank. And let's be honest, Joe Biden is not even running the country. That would be Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, and Nancy Pelosi. That's a fact. That's one thing I've said in my videos before. Most of the time, the vice president is usually running the country. And that's the case in a lot of places. If you ever watched Star Wars, I think it was, I forgot the lady name in Star Wars. But she was not Senator Palpatine, but I forgot her name, but she was a senator, but she had somebody else faking as her, but the real senator was the help, and the person that was behind the scenes, it's a totally different person who's actually running everything. Like George Bush Sr. was really running the country when Ronald Reagan was in office. Dick Cheney was running the White House, and so on and so forth. A lot of times, the vice president is wielding as much power or more power than the person who's president.
where black voters in key swing states, like for instance, black voters in Philadelphia, in that key swing state of Pennsylvania, could make all the difference for the Biden campaign.
All right, Jay O'Brien at the White House, our thanks to you as always.
I mean, like I said before, what a slap to the face. You just yell out, we celebrating Juneteenth, and you bring a bunch of singers and actors and dancers, which is basically minstrels, and what they would call, like on a deck of cards, the jokers, and you bring all these people in there, and what does that mean exactly? Absolutely nothing. Doesn't help us one bit. Let's take a look at this next clip. Vice President of Malawi missing after plane fails to reach its destination. Now, he's the vice president. Speaking of the vice president, I just spoke about vice presidents in the last clip. And in this clip, he's the vice president. And I don't know a lot about politics in Malawi. I do not. But I can tell you one thing. This man probably was running far more things than you can imagine. And he's probably the real president behind the scenes. And one or two things didn't happen to him. Either within his country, somebody wanted him dead, or the Western powers wanted him dead, or both. There's a third option, or both. But let's take a look at the clip.
This news we're following out of Africa tonight. A desperate search for the vice president of Malawi after the plane carrying him and 9 others apparently disappeared. He flew out of the country's capital earlier today, but the government there says his plane never got to where it was going. NBC's Tom Costello is following this for us. So what happened? What's the latest on the search and rescue?
Yeah, so Vice President Chalima was on a military transport plane flying from the capital of Malawi in Southeast Africa, headed for the city of Mazuzu, about 230 miles away. He never made it, as you said. The weather at the destination airport was bad, but air traffic control says it lost radar contact with the vice president's plane, and it did not land anywhere else. The military and search and rescue teams have been scouring the thick forest in the north of the country for any sign of the plane. It went missing at about 9:17 a.m. local time, about 3:17 a.m. East Coast time. A U.S. official tells NBC News as search and rescue operations are being conducted.
Let me say this too. This might be a little bit off topic, but I want you to see.
3:17 a.m. East Coast time.
So I just noticed little things. I don't know what it is about African women, but they have the worst wigs on the planet Earth. Look at this lady's wig. It look like they just take that shit on. It's ridiculous.
NBC News as search and rescue operations are being conducted. It says we are working with the Malawi government to offer all available assistance. Malawi, one of the poorest countries in the world. Vice President Chalima is a former tech executive who got into government. He came into office after partnering up with the current president, but he faced corruption charges over allegations that he received money.
Okay, yes, he was running the country. If he's a former tech executive, that means he had money. He funded, whoever the president is of Malawi, he was funding him, and he was taking money that's probably coming into the country. Whatever it is, he was filtering everything through him. So I would almost guarantee that they got rid of him from within the country. Maybe even the Western powers, but most definitely from within the country, from that president and that military probably. He probably was stealing funds, and there's no doubt about that. You know, a lot of these African countries, they talk a lot of shit about Negroes, but there's a lot of scamming. They got a real scamming culture in some of these African countries. That's a fact. And that's why so many of these countries are poor, because the smart and the elite of the African countries, as soon as they get in power, they start scheming off the top and scamming off the top of countries that's already poor. See, if you scheme and scam off top in America, it's a little bit different because there's so much money in here. But when you do that shit in Malawi or the Congo, hey man, you taking from the bottom of the barrel.
In return for influencing new government contract awards, those charges were dropped surprisingly last month.
It was not surprisingly that those charges was dropped. Believe me, when something like this happened, they was planning to get rid of him. Unless he was running somewhere. But now I ain't even say he was running nowhere. They didn't got rid of this man because they said the charges was dropped. So they dropped the charges probably knowing he wasn't going to be around long. Then they just waited for the perfect moment. No doubt about it.
Which led to allegations of the government not being serious about corruption. So the question right now, where is the vice president and where are the 9 others who are still missing on that military transport plane, Hallie?
Thanks for watching.
That's a great question. Where is he at? I would assume dead, but I always leave room I can be wrong. Maybe he pops up or resurfaces somewhere else, but I doubt it. This looks like a guy who made a lot of money in the tech world, came back home to his home country, got himself in government. He didn't want to be the actual face, so he made himself vice president, funded the president, and then became too greedy, took too much, and then all of a sudden, his airplane disappears. Only in Malawi. Let's take a look at this next clip. Key members of Israel cabinet resigned just one day after, I guess, the military rescue of, I think it was 4 hostages. Let's take a look at this clip.
New developments tonight in the Israel-Hamas war. A key member of Israel's war cabinet resigned just one day after 4 hostages were rescued. This as new details emerge about the daring operation. CBS 2's Lisa Rosner is here now with the very latest. Lisa?
Jessica, Benny Gantz resigned today, saying that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is putting politics over the country's security. Now, for Israel, this rescue operation was a morale boost, but Palestinians say it was a day of horror. Saturday, the Israeli Defense Forces stormed residential buildings in Gaza where Hamas was hiding 4 hostages. Amidst a deafening hail of gunfire on the other side, their first steps of freedom in 245 days for Noah Argamani, Almog Meir, Andrei Kozlov, and Shlomi Ziv. Once home, Meir was swarmed by friends at the hospital, leaving his uncle relieved.
It was a big party for him. All he wants is a cigarette and friends.
Back in the U.S. in Central Park Sunday,
Welcome home! Welcome home!
hundreds celebrated. A friend of rescued hostage Shlomi Ziv told the crowd they FaceTimed and cried like children. In New Iraq, though, devastation. Hamas says more than 200 Palestinians were killed in the daylight operation.
And sometimes you might ask the question, are some lives more valuable than others? And in that question, you realize it's really not even about that. It's about who's in power. And if I'm in power, then our lives is more important than your lives, unfortunately. Now, if you're talking about as far as a moral thing and a moral compass, yes, you would think all lives should matter, but that's just not the case. This is about a power dynamic. And Benjamin Netanyahu's been in trouble before this war even started. That's why he made sure this war happened, because he was about to be ousted before this. I've covered this from the very beginning, and a lot of people within his cabinet is sick of this. They're fighting a war that they're not really winning. They're just creating a bunch of destruction and creating a lot of enemies around the world, and they're starting to be isolated. And that's the last thing you want, is to be isolated, because obviously America is behind the scenes. They're supporting them 100%, but up front, like on the news and in the media, America has to try to create a little bit of separation, because right now it looks like they're just trying to wipe out the Palestinians. That's how it looks. And do I think that's what's happening? Yes. There's no doubt about that shit. I said that from the very first day this war started, that they were going to destroy as much of Palestine as possible. I said that from the very first day. So now you look, they've destroyed, I would say they've destroyed like 80% of Palestine at this point. It is basically rubble. They've gone back to the Stone Ages.
That targeted 2 apartment buildings where the hostages were held. We were sitting in our living room when suddenly we heard shots. I went outside and saw dead people, burnt bodies, most of them children. On CBS Face the Nation, Senator Lindsey Graham was asked if the U.S. should stop supplying weapons to Israel.
Hamas would kill everybody here if they could get here. Israel's not our enemy, they're our ally. Well, they can't, because they're pinned down over there. I want them destroyed so they can never come back and hurt Israel or us.
White House.
Well, what Senator Lindsey Graham is basically saying, he wants the Palestinians destroyed. He's not talking about Hamas. Because obviously Hamas is different from the average small baby, a child, or whatever. He's talking about they can't, because they can't destroy the United States because they're over there. Man, they don't have a snowball's chance in hell of destroying the United States. Yeah, they got a better chance of walking up Mount Everest barefoot and making it to the top than destroying the United States. But obviously, he's in cahoots with the Zionists. There's no doubt about that. By making that statement, let's listen to the statement again.
Our enemy, they're our ally. Well, they can't.
Hold on.
Stop supplying weapons to Israel.
Hamas would kill everybody here if they could get here. Israel's not our enemy, they're our ally.
She said they can't.
Well, they can't because they're pinned down over there. I want them destroyed so they can never come back to hurt Israel or us.
White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan was asked if the U.S. has made any conclusions on the loss of more than 35,000 lives in Gaza. That number, according to the Hamas-run health ministry.
And let me say this, just a small little history lesson. The original people of Palestine were black people. That's 100% a fact. There are still black people in Palestine. Obviously, these people that you see here are people who are left over from the Ottoman Empire. Big facts.
And himself has said publicly that Palestinians, innocent Palestinians, are going through sheer hell in this conflict. And a lot of that is because Hamas has put them in an impossible situation.
There are still 120 hostages being held in Gaza. 8 are American. Now, there is a ceasefire deal on the table that has been proposed by the U.S. and Israel, but mediators Qatar and Egypt have not heard back from Hamas. Jessica.
All right, Lisa, thank you. And stay with CBS 2 for continuing coverage out of Gaza. For a look back on our reporting since the war began, just head to cbsnewyork.com.
And they said they want to kill all of Hamas. That's impossible because every time you kill innocent people, you create more of the same thing. So obviously they create their own enemies, and it is what it is. Eventually, this war, they will come to a ceasefire, but by that time, Palestine will be completely destroyed. And we'll see, because they never had no long-term plans of helping and reestablishing Palestine. This was all about land grab. There's no doubt. And staying in power for Benjamin Netanyahu. There's no doubt about that. Let's take a look at this. Austin police released body cam video from a shooting. Let's take a look at this.
New video released by Austin police tonight showed the events leading up to an officer shooting and killing a man with a gun in southeast Austin at a gas station.
Police say the man who died was 35-year-old Alfonso Gonzalez.
I'll be the laugh. I'm not laughing at nobody died, but look at Alfonso Gonzalez. He and this bitch drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes, dressed up like he's part of the Taliban. He's ready to go. Look at him. Take a look at him again. What in the hell he got going on?
Up to an officer shooting and killing a man with a gun in southeast.
She look like Grand Theft Auto.
Police say the man who died was 35-year-old Alfonso Gonzalez. KXAN's Brianna Hollis combed through this video and walks us through what it reveals.
The police response started around 12:30 p.m. when officers saw a stolen car enter the Texaco gas station on Salt Springs Drive.
What's up, man?
An officer sees a gun in Gonzalez's hand and repeatedly calls him over, but he instead heads into the store with the firearm. Additional officers arrive and go inside.
Hey, get your hands off!
Gonzalez remains inside. Police retreat.
There might be one employee locked in the office.
With an employee still in the store, drone and surveillance video show Gonzalez pacing around the store, pointing his gun out the window towards officers. You also see him fire multiple shots.
We went back on the counter, you went and got lighter fluid again.
Surveillance video from inside the store shows him pouring the lighter fluid out. Police say he also had a lighter in his hand. The department says officers brought in crisis negotiators and tried to get Gonzalez out with pepper balls, but he still wouldn't drop the gun and leave. Then at 4:50, nearly 4 hours after this all started, Officer Ryan Nichols fires a single shot, killing Gonzalez. Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
And after Gonzalez went down, police say they ran inside to get the other employee out safely. They also tried to save Gonzalez's life, but say he later died at the hospital. Per department protocol, Officer Ryan Nichols, who fired that deadly shot, is now on paid leave pending an internal investigation, but so far, no charges have been filed.
Oh my God, yeah, they're not going to charge him with anything. This is one thing I say. Being a in-city sniper got to be one of the easiest jobs in America because you never hardly get to take shots. Me personally knowing that the guy who took that shot, he wasn't even a sniper. Maybe, I could be wrong, but usually if you're a sniper, you got a sniper rifle. And that looked like an AR variant, no doubt about that. But that was a great shot. Hit him. If you're shooting out the window at the police and you got lighter fluid and all that, they had every right to blow him away. Amigo wasn't trying to live anyway. He wasn't going to be a productive citizen. No way, shape, or form. Good night, amigo. Buenas noches. Let's take a look at this next clip. Crossing guard accused of giving e-cigarette and marijuana to middle school students. People doing anything. What the crossing guard doing handing this shit out? Let's take a look at this clip. And this is in Philadelphia.
A crossing guard in Delaware County has been arrested. 26-year-old Karen Lee.
What in the Froto Lord of the Rings is going on with this little lady? I thought she was a night walker. I thought she was a lady of the night. Look at this makeup. Look at this makeup.
Delaware County has been arrested. 26-year-old Karen Lee is charged with giving marijuana and e-cigarettes to young students at Penwood Middle School. It is Wednesday night. Showing's off. Sarah Lucas is joining us. And the big story in After News is the arrest of that crossing guard in Darby, Delaware County.
Authorities say along with giving kids marijuana, she was also contacting at least one student via text messages.
Action reporter John Paul live in media tonight.
I guarantee you one of them little Philadelphia middle school students was ramrodding that little Frodo. There's no doubt about it. You handing out weed and cigarettes and exchanging text messages. Ain't no telling what else she had going on.
John?
Yeah, Rick, Sarah, we talked to the Delaware District Attorney today, the Delaware County District Attorney here today, and he outlined all of those charges. We also know that crossing guard worked at a rec center with kids near the police department, and tonight police say that she gave drugs to a 14-year-old girl. Our cameras were there last night as police led 26-year-old Kiara Lee to a waiting van, her feet shackled. She faces a list of charges, including possession of drugs and corruption of minors. Investigators say she used her position as a crossing guard at an intersection near Penwood's Middle School to get close to kids and give at least one child edible.
She almost fell out the cuffs. They had to use special baby cuffs for this. She almost slipped and fell out the cuffs. Look at this shit.
Investigators say she used her position as a crossing guard at an intersection near Penwood's Middle School to get close to kids.
Let me say this. I talk about this a lot when it comes to fitness standards for police officers, state constables, whatever. Look at this big, fat, beer belly ass white boy. Look at this fat out of shape. How the hell you get to lead anybody anywhere and do anything? What if somebody, some kind of cuff expert, and they get out and get the kicking ass? What you gonna do? I said, we the only country in the world that has police this fucking fat and out of shape. He got 3 bellies, he got 2 chins, he's just a big bag of fucking gravy. Look at that, that's just ridiculous.
And gave at least one child edible marijuana.
She's supposed to be, as you said, a crossing guard protecting children. Instead, she's using that position to get to know children and then sharing harmful products.
The Delaware County District Attorney says they are looking to see if more kids got drugs from Lee. In the affidavit obtained by Action News, at least 4 kids were interviewed by police.
You can imagine a child who's taken edible marijuana and sitting in a classroom is not exactly paying attention, becoming an
Well, if you're a kid in 8th grade, you took an edible in class, you're not even in class. Your ass is outer space. So you might be in science class, it's just going to be on the moon. Ain't no doubt about that. Because one thing I know about them damn edibles, they are, especially when you get the real deal, they are strong as hell. Smoking weed is way easier than eating them edibles. That's for experts. That's high level shit. That's all Madden. Yeah, that's Hall of Fame. Yeah, you don't want to go straight to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, you want to start out on amateur, rookie, veteran. Yeah, you don't want to go straight to Hall of Fame. Yeah, you go on there, skip the preseason right to the Super Bowl.
According to investigators, Lee gave a vape to the child as well, and even texted with her about her experience after taking marijuana. We know that Lee also worked at a rec center nearby and was known in the community.
I do know exactly what you're talking about, and I always see her
on that side of McDade and Summit.
We talked to
Look at
one
her.
mom.
I do know her because one time I passed by and she had some weed. I got some weed. Oops, I'm sorry. But I do know her personally, y'all. I know her.
Picking her son up from Penwood Middle School today, she was surprised by what the crossing guard was accused of doing.
My reaction to it is another reason why I'm scared for my son to go here, and I'm gonna.
She said, my reaction to it is I was surprised she didn't give it to me. This little bitch.
Hey, they graduated.
Back out here live now. Police are looking into this, especially since that she had so much access to children, having worked at that nearby rec center. So, Sarah, tonight they're asking parents to call them if they might have any information about other victims who may be out there. We're live tonight in media. John Paul, Channel 6 Action News. Sarah?
Okay, John, thanks for the up.
Well, one thing I think we all can agree on, this little lady still had a child like mine. In her mind, she still was a adolescence. There's no doubt about that to me because she had too much connection with underage kids. And she was a pedophile. There's no doubt about that. But she's so small, people tend to look past that because she still looks like a child herself. And obviously in the mind, she's still a child. But let's take a look at this. Cat killer leaves 4 cats dead. Now, when I was around 21, I was also a cat killer. It just wasn't of the feline variety. But let's take a look at this. It's a cat killer leaves 4 dead pet owners now paranoid. So a motherfucker running around killing cats in the neighborhood. And let me say this before this video even started. I'm from Texas, and I grew up. I'm an 80s baby. And my grandfather hated cats. My dad hated cats. I'm not a huge fan of cats myself. I never have a cat in my house. But my grandfather was vicious. He was a true cat killer. Man, you know how many cats I found blown up against the gate with a 12 gauge? I was like, Granddaddy, that you had to shoot it with a 12 gauge with the with the buckshot. The cat was literally blown damn near through the fence. Like half, you know how the body imprint was on the fence of the imprint was on the cat. The cat was damn near went through the fence. But let's take a look at this clip.
Roads in Lake Clark Shores.
They went missing and they never re-showed.
It's been heartbreak.
2 at Christmas time and then 3 right in a row.
After heartbreak.
Last 3 weeks, 4. I've lost 1.
For cat lover.
If you lost 4, and I see 2 sitting there, I see 3 bowls on the table, I see all this other cat shit in the back. How many cats? I'm going to tell you what didn't happen. I didn't watch this clip before I made this video. I just seen it and I put it up. This lady had far too many cats in this neighborhood, and somebody was sick of it. So either they was picking them cats up and dropping them off on the other side of town, or they was poisoning and killing them cats and getting them cats out of there. This is a certified cat lady. It might indulge in a little bit of witchcraft, because ain't nobody want this many cats around but a witch.
Debbie Hyatt,
I was hoping that I would get some type of closure.
who said some of her cats have gone missing. One was found dead in the water.
Of course it
What
was.
happens is they get shot in the back, it renders them paralyzed, and then they get thrown in the canal.
Lake Clark Shores police confirm multiple cats were found dead the same way.
Told
They are
you.
investigating
Told you.
Other cats along Carambola were reported missing.
Look out, kitty.
Cat killer signs up.
One that hasn't been found
That one actually has Gray's picture underneath it.
is Gray, the cat.
For them to be taken, it feels just like a human would be taken from you.
Gray's family says
No,
he
it
hasn't
doesn't.
been seen since Monday. This isn't your only cat, right?
No, we've got 2 more.
Are you concerned for those?
Yeah, now we're paranoid because the youngest one wants to bolt out the door every time we get it open.
A door they say Gray always came home to.
Yeah, I wake up to his meow and him. I think he's here. Or,
I'm not laughing at the cats down, but these people.
Is that Gray may have crossed paths with who neighbors call the Carambola cat killer.
So smart. I'm not laughing at because I would never kill a cat. I don't kill animals, none of that. But this whole thing, like it's just some goddamn murder mystery. Y'all got too many fucking cats. Period, point blank. You got 119 goddamn cats. They all running around people's houses, in the trees, and probably sneaking in, and they probably kill somebody's damn bird. Ain't no telling, because them cats is they number little hunters. Yeah, they like real, they hunt like lions at nighttime. So you got these cats and shit, they all over the goddamn neighborhood. So somebody said, you know what we gonna do? We gonna take a few out for you. Since you ain't gonna get rid of none of these cats, we'll get rid of them, some of them for you. There's no doubt about that.
You got to resolve it. You got to find a way to catch the person that's doing this.
Lake Clark Shores police tell me that they do have a person of interest, but that it's still being investigated and that whoever is responsible could face animal cruelty charges and more, depending on the firearm. Reporting in Lake Clark Shores, I'm Joel Lopez.
Like I said, my granddaddy used to pop them cats. This was in the 80s, though. It was a different time. But if you got too many of one kind of animal, hey, man, you got to take your neighbors into consideration. There's no doubt about that shit. This ain't no damn cat farm. Hell, you doing with all these goddamn cats. And these cats is like independent. They independent as hell. It ain't like you just like, come here, sit down, kitty. These cats do what the hell they want to do. So, yeah, somebody around there was taking them cats out, sick of all them damn cats, and they making it like they don't know what's going on. You got too many. That's what's going on. And white people's kinship to animal continues. Video shows rodeo bull hopping arena fence into crowded seats. And I always talk about this. I don't know what it is about white people and animals, bison and mountain lions, and bears, and they just get eaten and mauled and kicked in the ass by every kind of wildlife on the planet. Either getting stung by jellyfish, hopped on by frogs, they getting fucking stung by fucking wasps. They whatever it is that can get on them gets on their ass. But let's take a look at this clip. How you get hit by a bull and you're not a rodeo clown? Unbelievable. Let's take a look.
A terrifying scene of a packed rodeo in Sisters, Oregon over the weekend. It happened during the final event of the night in front of a crowd of thousands. That's when a full-size
That bull a real athlete.
Party bus jumped over a fence, instantly causing chaos in the...
The bull's name was Party Bus. Oh, that's my kind of bull. I like bulls too. I like watching bull riding. I like to watch that shit from the comfort of my home. I don't want shit to do with going next to these fucking 700-800 pound beasts who can fucking knock you 30 feet in the air. No way, Jose. Man, he jumped over that bitch like LeBron James.
I was panicked knowing that now this giant animal is out there.
The bull storming into a concession area, striking people in the crowd, knocking over a garbage can, and sending two
He almost got hit, look.
Scrambling.
The bull loose. I have one down.
The bull then flipped an unsuspecting woman several feet into the air.
She never seen the party bus coming. She never seen the party bus coming. I ain't seen that many flips since the last Olympics in the gymnastics. Where is Simone Biles? Here's the white version right here.
Sending terrified patrons scrambling.
We had a bull loose. I have one down.
The bull then flipped an
The white Simone Biles.
several feet into the air. You can see her tumbling head over heels.
Hey. Hey. When that bull hit that lady, you would be okay if you just got hit. You might be busted up a little bit. But the bull is so good at that shit. Not only did he knock you in the air, he also caught you in the air again and hit your ass about 2 or 3 more times while you was in mid-air. Only thing was missing on that bull was number 52 and Ray Lewis on the back of his damn jersey. Look at this bull. Look how this bull flipped this like. I want you to watch it, because he flipped her. He didn't just let her hit the ground. No. Bam, midair, bam, 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 bam. He hit her 3 times in midair.
5 people sustained injuries, according to the Cloverdale Fire Department. They say none were life-threatening.
Oh, man. I feel sorry for these people.
Issued a
Shit.
statement saying, in part, the rodeo announcer immediately activated the emergency
Because
response.
you was having a good time and laughing and drinking motherfucking Milwaukee Best or whatever the hell they drinking out there while the bull was being made a mockery of. They laughing and dancing and they doing all type of tricks around the bull. Now the party bus done got loose and everybody's mad at the party bus.
adding that rodeo livestock professionals quickly responded to safely contain the bull.
He wasn't loose.
Wasn't quick enough.
I would say 25 to 30 seconds. He actually ran through a gate that was at the end of the arena.
Trying to downplay
back to where the rest of the bulls were kept.
The professional
You tell the white Simone Biles that bull wasn't loose that long.
It's a very entertaining sport. On very rare occasions, it can also pose some risk.
Nobody could have anticipated this happening, and when it actually did, they were
Hey, yes, you can anticipate this. This is not, she said this like this is the first bull to ever get loose at a rodeo. I guarantee you I can go right now and pull up bulls getting loose at rodeos, and there's many clips. So yes, if you swim with sharks, there's a chance you might not get bit, but there's also a chance you might get bit. You're in the ocean with sharks. You go to see bulls at a rodeo. You go to NASCAR, a wheel could fly off and kill you because you at an event where there is risk and there's a history of where you can go see this happen. So yeah, she's lying.
very quick to react. I think the bull was even caught faster than a lot of the crowd even knew it had escaped. I 100% plan on returning to the Sisters Rodeo and other rodeos.
I hope Party Bus get your ass next time.
Not sustained any injuries. The annual Sisters Rodeo competition did move forward with scheduled programming yesterday. It's final night. Ellison,
Emily and Kenna, thank you.
Thanks, Emily.
That is just fantastic. You gotta love it. White people are a magnet for bull horns. Let's take a look at this next clip. Florida beaches reopened after shark incident. Now, if a shark done bit a motherfucker's arm off, who wants to go back in that water if you ain't caught that shark? And even if you did catch him, I'm staying away from that water for a while. I understand going to the beach, but I'm going to be so close up on the shore. But when I see the shark, it's only going to take me 3 or 4 steps to get back on the sand. Let's take a look at this clip.
all weekend we've been telling you about the shark attacks at beaches along 30A that sent 2 people to the hospital.
And that is a white girl laying in that gurney. Another person. White people are a magnet for all wildlife.
Here in Southeast Louisiana, families often vacation in the Florida Panhandle. Our Whitney Miller takes a look at what you need to know to stay safe if you find yourself at the beach.
It was a busy weekend for marine officials in Walton County who came to the aid of a woman and 2 teenage girls who were in 2 separate shark attacks.
Looked down there and saw the severity of the injury. Realized that anybody who had any kind of medical knowledge needed to help.
Doctors Ryan Forbes and Muhammad Ali were there to help the 15-year-old girl whose left hand was bitten off. Part of her right leg will also need to be amputated. 2 hours earlier, a 45-year-old woman had significant injuries to her midsection and needed part of her left arm amputated. That attack was only 4 miles away.
Conservationists tell us when we enter the beach, we're in.
I mean, obviously, these people, you put yourself in these predicaments, you ain't nothing but shark chum. But, let me say this. There was a time when you was a TV reporter, there were standards of beauty and standards of fitness. Now, you can be a big, beautiful girl. BBW, ain't no doubt about that. But there's no way your pants should look like the biscuits when you pop them. There's no way in hell that your shirt should be this sloppy. Much love to this sister. But if you're going to be on TV, there's no doubt you should hit the gym. And I'm not trying to be mean-spirited. I'm just being real. There was a time of a reporter like this. She might have talent and everything, but there was a time when you actually have to have some standards of fitness and standards of beauty. And I'm not saying she's an ugly woman, but I'm saying, like, goddamn. She got a real live fupa, and that shirt ain't tucked right to save her life. And the biscuits have busted. God bless America and no place else.
During their home, and sharks aren't even interested in humans as their prey. We are not their food source, 100%.
Christine Brizenda is a curator at the Audubon Aquarium. She says when shark attacks do happen, it's a case of mistaken identity.
People survive shark attacks because those sharks realize that they have made a mistake and they don't really want to eat us. They just don't have any other way of really investigating the situation.
She says it's not unusual for sharks to come in shallow water, and she says despite the number of incidents over the weekend, shark attacks are still incredibly rare.
It is very
Shark attacks are rare to people who don't get bit. When you get bit, they're very, very common.
If you also find yourself in that rare situation, Brazil says, stay calm.
You really want to see them, like at least like something that they might be interested in.
Well, a lot of times the people don't see the shark, so you can't stay you can't stay calm over to bit your hand off. See what I mean? Let me tell you, white people give the worst advice when it comes to animals. I've covered so many videos of white people and animals, and they always give the worst advice possible. Number one, stay away from these goddamn animals. Number two, how you gonna tell somebody to stay calm when their hand they got bit off? Seriously. It just makes no sense.
As officials pointed out on Friday, this is not the first time people have been attacked in the area, but it is rare. In 2005, a 14-year-old girl from Louisiana died after she was pulled underwater by a shark while on a boogie board. The second was in 2021 when a 14-year-old boy was bit in the chest while fishing. He survived.
I mean, some of that's just, common sense has to kick in. I mean, seriously. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But shout out to that black lady. She has a great voice, but I mean, come on now. Come on now. Hit the gym, man. You're on national fucking TV. Ain't nothing wrong with hitting that treadmill and laying off them goddamn peanut butter cookies. Let's take a look at this. North Korea warns of new response against South Korea. And I've covered this, that North Korea would love to invade South Korea. Are they going to do that? One day, 100% guaranteed. Just like one day China's going to invade Taiwan. Just like I told you, one day there will be a war between Israel and Iran. And there's no doubt I called the whole thing with Russia and Ukraine. But let's take a look at this clip.
Against the South, if it continues loudspeaker broadcasts and leaflet scattering over the shared border. In a statement carried by Pyongyang's state news agency on Sunday, Kim Yo-jong said that the South, quote, will undoubtedly witness the new counteraction of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea using the North's official name. The South's military said on Sunday it had switched the loudspeakers directed at the North back on, releasing footage of soldiers being trained to use them. It was a follow-through after Pyongyang ignored its warnings about sending more balloons carrying trash towards the South the day before. Kim said of the South's fresh broadcasts, quote, this is a prelude to a very dangerous situation. On Monday, South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said it had detected signs that the North was installing its own loudspeakers. It added the South was not planning to operate its speakers that day, believed to be covered by the green wall seen in this video at the inter-Korean border. The South had not broadcast over the speakers since 2018 under a deal signed by the two Korea's leaders. The broadcasts usually include world news, information about democracy, and a mix of K-pop music, and the sound is believed to travel a little over 12 miles into the north. As tensions grow on the Korean peninsula, Seoul officials said South Korea and the United States were holding talks on Monday in the South's capital on better coordinating an allied nuclear response.
And some people, they might not know the history of North Korea and South Korea. Let me add a little context. Obviously, in the 1950s, let me say, after World War II, Russia, China, obviously China became a communist country from Russia. And within that, United States wanted to get a little slice of Korea. They really wanted all of Korea, but the northern side went with China and the communist Russia, and then the south went with the Western powers of the United States and Europe. And obviously there's been a DMZ zone split down the middle of Korea, and North Korea has never said the war against the United States was over. It's just basically on a 60, 70 year pause, but yes, eventually one day they will go back in there. There's no doubt about that. And South Korea army is very, very weak. It's completely propped up by the United States and Western powers. Yeah, they don't really have no real military in South Korea. Everything comes from the West, just like Taiwan don't have no real military. Everything comes from the West.
Should a war break out with Pyongyang? Meanwhile, Russian media are reporting plans by President Vladimir Putin to visit North Korea in the coming weeks. The Kremlin has stepped up ties with Pyongyang and other countries hostile to the US since the start of the Ukraine war.
I mean, it is what it is. That's just, these are the things that the United States have been holding on to for a long time to try to prop these things up. But eventually, as the United States become weaker and weaker over time, you can't police the world forever. And these countries are just laying in wait. And eventually there will be an invasion, just like the Russia and the Ukraine. Eventually you'll see China and Taiwan. Eventually you'll see North Korea going to South Korea. And if all those things happen, the United States, even as powerful as this country is, they couldn't stop all that, even if they wanted to. It's too much. So if they all coordinated together, it would basically be a World War III. And that's what you don't want, but it seems like it's inevitable. If you're a person of the Bible, you know that a lot of these things have to happen. There's no doubt about that. Let's take a look at this last clip of the day. Get a first look at Disney's new Princess and the Frog ride. Now, Disney is nothing but a witch coven, a Luciferian safe haven. And, the reason why I have to go over this clip, because they got a black princess, but she has a white man. And is there anything wrong with people dating who they want to date? I can care less. But the agenda to try to force and push that is plainly obvious. And obviously, when you're dealing with Disney, you're dealing with Luciferians. They have clips of Disney Disney artists and people who work for Disney's who said when we was kids, all them cartoons, they put so many subliminal messages in them. And they would put like penises in the smoke, or they would put some suggestive word in the smoke. We was kids, we couldn't see it. It was going into our, we could see it, but couldn't see it. So it would go into the subconscious. But let's take a look at this clip.
Disney World's new Tiana's Bayou Adventure ride opens to the public soon, and today we're getting a first look at the attraction.
It takes guests on a ride traveling along the bayou, and Eyewitness News reporter Ashley Mackey drew the short stick. She is there in Orlando covering it live. Hi.
And as you can see in the back, you have the black princess and the white man behind her. So, hi, is this a good thing for black people? I don't know, but it's funny to watch. And Disney has what they call Disney programming. They did program a lot of little girls with Disney fairy tales. There's no doubt about that.
Ashley.
David and Colleen, hello, all the way from Walt Disney World. I literally flew all the way across the country to be here, all because Princess Tiana is throwing a party to celebrate a brand new attraction, the grand opening of a new ride based off the Disney classic, The Princess and the Frog. Now, if you're a fan of the movie like me, and you're a bit of a thrill seeker, this ride is for you.
We are getting our first official look at the new Tiana's Bayou Adventure here in the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. The musical attraction takes you on a thrilling journey with Princess Tiana and the jazz-loving alligator Louis as they get ready to celebrate Mardi Gras season.
Tiana's Bayou Adventure is a very exciting journey through the bayou. We are on our way to find some musicians for her Mardi Gras party.
We're taking the...
Let me say this while it's on my mind. Also, obviously Orlando is like one of the most known places for Disney World. Is it Disney World or Disneyland? But one of them, whichever one it is. But there have been so many pedophiles that have been arrested that worked for Disney. It's ridiculous. I've seen that the sheriff, I think it was the sheriff of whatever the county is in Orlando. But yeah, this has been a lot of arrests of pedophiles for people who work with Disney. That's a fact.
Very best of what the Imagineers do, especially those that are technically inclined, and we brought it to this new store. So what we're seeing here for the first time domestically in our parks is some of that very best technology showcased. And I'm super excited because I've never seen Tiana Louis come to life like they do here.
Growing up and even now, I've been a fan of The Princess and the Frog and, of course, Tiana. So this ride is a little bit of nostalgia and a whole lot of fun.
The celebration goes with a 50-foot cloud that plunges you into the grandest celebration on this side of the Mississippi.
Hey, look at the black woman. She always gonna protect that goddamn lace front. Look at they don't want no water to hit that goddamn hair helmet. Oh my God.
The ride was just so incredible, if I'm being honest. Like, I kept thinking when I was in it, like, wow, people from all over the world are going to get to experience.
I didn't notice this, but look, she has a look. There are a lot of black women who indulge in witchcraft. That was one of the first few videos I did on my channel of black women in witchcraft. And you can see she has one of them energy crystals on her neck. And I'm not saying she's a lesbian, but she does have Queen Latifah set it off vibe. I could be wrong, but the energy crystals a lot of times is a dead giveaway to me. You're supposed to be praying to God, not to no goddamn granite, to some kind of crystal, some kind of damn rock. The Bible says you don't worship wood and stone.
Princess ride. Get a taste of New Orleans, like get that feel, get that vibe, and it's the first Black Princess ride. So as a Black woman, I'm like,
It's the first Black Princess ride. What the fuck does that mean? That means absolutely nothing. How does that help us? How does that move us forward? Having a Black Princess ride. It's the most loose, ridiculous type of rhetoric. I mean, you could possibly hear. There's a Black Princess ride. Let's look at this silly shit again.
world are going to get to experience this ride. Get a taste of New Orleans, like get that feel, get that vibe, and it's the first Black Princess ride. So as a Black woman, I'm like,
Tiana's Bayou Adventure officially opens here at Walt Disney World on June 28th. For us on the West Coast, we don't have to wait too much longer. It will be at the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim this fall.
Hello.
I mean, a complete waste of time and pointless. I mean, it ain't like we got some ownership in it or we're making some kind of money off of it. It's just, once again, false platitudes and a slap to the face. As you can see, she has on the picture, she has a black father and a black mother. But when she kisses the frog, it turns into a white man. Unbelievable. Only on Sports Life and Politics TV. But, I just wanted to go over those clips, you guys. There's been a lot of things going on around in the world. I just want to start this week off with some of these news clips that I've seen and, just cover them and try to read in between the lines. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been Sports Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective. I'm here for the news. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took your ass on Get Out the Way of the Party Bus Ride. Peace.